After dark, baby.
Don't do it.
Welcome to episode 22 of the Flag Stays Down podcast. Nice little month-end special under the transfer window. So tonight it's myself, Andy. You can find me on Twitter at Miski North. I've got back for the second time our buddy Joe, President Liverpool expert.
Cheers.
Joe, how you doing on this Sunday?
Doing all right. Kind of a tough sports weekend for all my teams, but not doing too bad.
Yeah, dude, rough to say the least. I know you'd mentioned Marquette lost today. We got the U.S. losing to Canada for the first time since 1993.
Oh boy!
And of course, no Premier League. So
no,
yeah.
It's been pretty brutal.
Well, let's. I do want to chat about that U.S. game. I know you and I were kind of messaging back and forth about that one, and with Matt in Mexico and Parker at a pinball tournament. I'm glad you were watching.
That's pretty funny. I had no idea that Parker was actually at a pinball tournament.
So the U.S. goes down early. I don't have it up in front of me. I just remember it was a BS goal where the U.S. failed to do anything off of a goal kick. Canada countered real quick with no defensive effort put forth, and yeah, just a terrible goal. And then of course they concede a second in like the 85th, 86th, something like that. But from top to bottom here, this was not a good effort. But I'm curious to know what you think a little bit more in depth on that.
It was, you and I touched on it a couple times. Everything was just so slow, and they would attempt build-up play, but it sure seemed like they were attempting build-up play for attempting build-up play's sake. And then when that stopped working, then they kind of went to the patented U.S. strategy of just bomb it downfield and see if Pulisic and McKinney can do something with it. And that's about it.
And unfortunately, as I've seen as a Chelsea fan, Pulisic is not in form at the moment whatsoever. So bombing it downfield to him was probably not the best option.
There were certain points, and I know I messaged you during one of them, but when McKinney, they literally just pass it to him, and they're like, "Okay, go ahead, take it against 4 defenders, see what you can do. No one is going to support you. Have fun." Like, what is he supposed to do in the final third with 4 or 5 defenders around him? I mean, it was just kind of sad.
And it's amazing because we've been hearing for years that this is the golden generation. And
right.
Granted, we're in third in World Cup qualifying, which isn't terrible, but for Canada to be leading this group when we've got players at Barcelona, Chelsea,
right. Well, it kind of leads to the team selection too. You were touching on it, but like, where's Josh Sargent?
Yeah.
You're telling me he couldn't do anything more than our forward today? Like,
and Josh Sargent's on a roll. He's finally scoring for Norwich now too.
Right. You touched on it earlier, saying that we need to have these guys that are actually in mid-season form playing instead of all these MLS guys that are in the off season. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of worrisome, if I'm being honest, because I just don't feel like they have a good strategy going forward.
There are some of the players I don't mind from MLS, like Kellen Acosta coming off the bench, I'm okay with. Mm-hmm. But the one that really grinds my gears is Giassi Zardes.
Yes.
Didn't even know he was still around. Like, where did he come from? Why is he? I know he's Greg Berhalter's guy, but you're telling me that out of 350 people in America, he is your best attacking option.
Right. Well, and they did bring Pepe off the bench, but it's like, what's wrong with him? Why can't he start? I feel like he was much more creative in the few minutes he was on the pitch than, I don't know. It's kind of a head scratcher, mind number.
I'm trying to bring up the roster here just to see how many MLSers we've got. Um, there's, it's not even worth it. There's a lot. Like half the roster is coming out of MLS there.
Yikes.
Boy. So I've been on the Berhalter out train for a while, and
Yeah.
I was a guy who supported Klinsmann until he got a little crazy in the head. But man, I don't understand U.S. soccer's infatuation with MLS. I mean, I know it's the U.S.'s league, but we don't need an MLS coach managing
No.
us to the World Cup.
I completely agree. And I feel like you see more success with coaches that are not from their country coaching some national team personally. So I don't know. So you want him fired, but who do you think should replace him?
Well, up until today, there was a great manager available who knows how to handle young guys, and that was Frank Lampard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Claudio Ranieri is available. Rafa Benitez is available. I don't particularly want either of those, but who was the American coach from Red Bull who just got fired? Marsh?
I'm not sure. Not sure of the name.
But yeah, he's available too even if you want an American who's got international experience.
Right. Right. As long as his last name is not Bradley.
I would honestly take Bob Bradley back. Bob Bradley had a plan.
You seriously would take him back?
Maybe, as long as he doesn't bring Michael Bradley with him.
Leaves him at home.
Yeah.
With his, yeah.
And I know I sent you this earlier, but I want everyone to make sure they're aware when they hear this on the next World Cup call. Yes, Greg Berhalter has the best win percentage of any U.S. coach ever. But since he's been the manager, they have pretty much gotten rid of international friendlies. The U.S. has played in CONCACAF Champions League or CONCACAF Nations League, CONCACAF World Cup qualifying, and the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
So good job beating Aruba 7 times. It's not as impressive a stat as CBS makes it out to be.
Right.
Which is another
thing
that grinds my gears.
It kind of blows my mind. It's like, I understand a lot of these friendlies. You want to build confidence, but at the same time, don't you want some of your friendlies to be against, decent competition, to maybe prepare a little bit more against better competition if you were to make the World Cup? I don't know.
Save your guys some travel. I mean, half your squad is from Europe at this point anyways. Why not go play Sweden or something?
Right. Iceland.
Yes.
Get the chant going.
I'll give props to Canada for having 50% of their whatever capacity.
Yeah.
They were loud.
It looked pretty rowdy there. And I mean, yeah, props to them. I don't think they've had much success in the qualifying.
No, I can't. I don't think they've been in a World Cup in our lifetime.
Right. Not that I know. So
yeah. So props to them. That's probably how we're feeling now is how Mexico probably feels when we beat them.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But the last thing from this match, kind of just a U.S. to Premier League transition here. I wanted to get your opinion because Matt Parker and I talk about Pulisic almost weekly at
Right.
this point, and we certainly have our views on him. After watching him today, what are your opinions on Pulisic as a fan of the U.S.?
I just feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he's usually one that tries to make runs behind the defense, and I am not seeing him do that nearly as often. And I feel like that is part of his strength, is making, because he's lightning fast, but I don't feel like he's truly using his speed to make those runs. I feel like he's trying to handle more of the ball, and that's not necessarily paying dividends.
Yeah, and Pulisic the last couple weeks has had to play out of position, whether that's at wing back or a little bit more centrally. Played as a false nine for a while, so he hasn't really played his left wing position in a while.
Right.
And I think that kind of showed today. He just didn't he wasn't as crisp as he has been. So,
I mean, it's been months though. Unfortunately,
it has. And so I know me and Matt Parker have talked about, maybe Pulisic's best bet is to leave the club. What would you think? Do you think Chelsea's the right place for him, or is there somewhere else that you'd have in mind?
Maybe back to the Bundesliga. I mean, he had a decent spell in the Premier League, and he had some success, but I don't know. Do you feel he's truly consistent enough to make a lasting presence in the Premier League, or do you think it's a flash in the pan?
No, I think that Operation Restart where he was on fire, I think that was a flash in the pan. I don't think that was true form. I think that was him taking advantage of some guys who were out of form. But yeah, I think you're right. Probably the Bundesliga or La Liga would be two really good spots for him. And it seems to be that's where most Americans end up, is one of those two.
That's true. In truth be told, as long as, and this sounds bad, like I'm going to be ragging on the MLS, but man, it shows the players that are playing over in Europe and playing in those different leagues in Europe tend to have more success in the World Cup qualifying and in the World Cup matches and all that. So I don't know. The MLS is just, I'm not going to say a crappy league, but it's bordering on a crappy league. And I just don't think that there's enough good players in that league in order to push any of our men's national team guys.
And then you keep expanding the league.
Right.
Year after year.
Diluting it even more. Yeah. Like, I understand why they do it, because money rules everything, and they want to make the MLS a bigger league. But I also think they need to start maybe having it be more like every other soccer league in the nation and have that, tiered scoring system and not have true playoffs. But that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah. Don't get me started on playoffs. Mainly because my team always gets screwed.
Right.
Sporting Kansas City will end up drawing with Portland every single year. That's what it is. All right. Well, getting over to the Premier League. It's been a while since we've talked Liverpool on this pod, and we got you guys coming up again. What is it, next month? In the Carabao Cup. Liverpool have been a little busy today, and then the last couple of days looks like in the transfer window. How are you feeling coming out of January here? You feel you're still in the race?
Yes. Well, it's so tough because we do have, the crazy thing is we do have another 4 months, like another 3.5 months of matches. And it just really sucks having to rely on a team to lose points. And basically you kind of have to be perfect from here on out in order to stay in the race. And thankfully with Mo and Mane and Keita being out, we have had, I think we've only dropped 2 points technically with 1 draw. So, but we've been playing pretty well, just gutting out wins or draws. So that's all I can really ask. But I think we're 6 behind now, but I think we're a game up. We'll say I'm in a better place than I was last time we talked, but I still personally think that City's probably going to win the league just because, they're just a machine. I don't see them dropping too many more matches. And frankly, again, having to stay perfect and not really drop any points with the draw is going to be really tough the rest of the way.
So what do you think Klopp's focus is for the remainder of the year? What do you think is priority number one between the league, cups, Champions League?
I personally think he's going to be focusing on getting trophies other than the Premier League. I think he's still going to obviously play the strongest side he can for the Premier League, because I'm sure he doesn't want to give any illusion that he's going to be giving up the league, because the fan base would not be super pumped with that. Because really the Premier League is basically the highest that you can go, especially for the fan base. But it'll be nice to, try and get some other trophies like the Carabao Cup and really focus on the Champions League again, because I think they have the depth to be able to win some trophies this year. And once we get the guys back from AFCON, I think we'll be in pretty good shape, especially with our new signing. So,
Yeah, who I saw that there were signings today. I didn't really do much digging into it. Who did Liverpool pick up today?
Luis Diaz.
That's the guy out of Portugal, right?
Yep. He's going to be, I think he's going to fit perfectly. I think he's going to be more of a Diogo Jota type, just constant energy, making those runs that you need to, and having that aggressiveness. I'm really excited to have him, because Bobby's getting old, in my opinion. He's still really good on the ball, and he's still important to what we do. But I feel like Jota is slowly taking over his spot, and Jota can also go to the wing, as he's shown in the last couple of matches as well. And having Luis Diaz, I believe he can too. So if Mane ever need a rest, or anything for coming to a big match in the Carabao, like the championship, it'll be nice to have that depth.
So do you think this, do you read between the lines at all? Do you see this being problems for Liverpool keeping Mohamed Salah?
I think, my honest opinion, I think they will re-sign Salah and then let Mane go. It sucks, but I think it's inevitable. I also think they're probably going to be looking to offload Origi and Minamino as well, likely in the summer window. I don't think it's happening on deadline day, but I think those are pretty much foregone conclusions, that especially Origi and Minamino are going to be gone.
Yeah, it's it's an abundance of wealth at those attacking positions. And just to to hear, oh yeah, just kind of in passing, Mane will probably be gone. It blows my mind.
One of the best wingers in the world, like, yeah, he's probably out the door, honestly, which sucks, because he seems to really enjoy the club, and he enjoys all the fans. But I think if they had to choose between the two, I think they're keeping Salah.
Yeah, because the rumor, I think it was last week, was Chelsea are lining up to go after Salah in the summer window.
Bring him back. Yeah,
and then he'll score 4 goals.
Fernando Torres 2.0.
Yeah. Big Rom 2.0.
Right.
Man. And then the other one I saw you guys were linked to was Carvalho out of Fulham. Is he another attacker?
I think he would. It's kind of tough to see where he would fit in. I feel like he would be more of an attacking mid, but I very well could be wrong. They have a £5 million offer out there, I should say, and I think that means he would stay for the rest of the season at Fulham, and then come over in the summer, which seemed kind of interesting to me, because I think they could probably use him right away. But yeah, it's all kind of speculative at this point. I don't think anything has actually gone through yet. But we'll see. I think they're just trying to add a little bit of depth in the attacking, because we have the depth in the defense now. There's also, I take that back. There's also a chance they might be selling Nico Williams, which is one of our good young, I believe he's a left back. So I don't know. You never really know. And with deadline day being tomorrow, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and looking at Carvalho, it looks like it's gonna be a good signing. He was 19, coming out of Portugal. His first full season here in England with Fulham. He's got 8 goals and 20 appearances.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. At 19, I guess it's a good move to, you know, buy him and then loan him back immediately to finish out the year. Let him finish out a great year and come back at age 20 and
Right.
tear it up.
Well, and I think the other part of that is that Fulham, I think, is still in the race to be promoted. So I don't think that. I think as far as sportsmanship goes, they don't want to take their best attacker away from them in the heat of a promotion race. So I think that's ultimately what it might be if it does go through.
Yeah. Looking at they're right in the heart of it. They got the best attack in the championship. So good luck to them. That's one of those clubs where I always enjoyed watching other teams play there in the Premier League.
Right.
But I don't know. I just love Craven Cottage. It's one of my favorite grounds.
Swansea has always been I'm not going to say second team because that's a little high, but I just love John Joe Shelby. He's my favorite, my absolute favorite of all time.
John Joe. Oh, what
He's
a
so
guy.
bald. He's been bald for years.
Starred for that Newcastle team now for so long, and then they're about to pump a bunch of money in. He's gonna be out the door.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. So going back to transfers here. Have you been seeing anything else for Liverpool that might be coming through the pipes?
I honestly have not seen. That's the only really two that I've seen. I think they might be trying to sell Nat Phillips, one of the center backs that we got. But I personally don't want to. I personally think when he has played better than Konate. And Konate, honestly, he's had a little bit better form as of late, but he still worries me every time he starts because I just feel like him and Verge just don't mesh together for whatever reason. So I don't know. Honestly, Verge and Matip have, I don't know what happened, but they've just built this partnership and they've been really, really good next to each other.
Is Matip kind of playing out of position as a center back? I could have sworn he was a holding mid for a while, wasn't he?
No, not for us at least. He's always been the center back.
Okay.
He's also been oft injured.
Oh, okay.
Seemingly every year, it seems like he has some sort of nagging injury that keeps him off for weeks and weeks and sometimes months. So this is probably, knock on wood, that this is going to be one of his first full seasons. So, and he's thankfully shown that he can, play really well. He's so funny because he'll just have these sweeping attacks from the back where he will literally just dribble it up the middle of the field and go around people. And every single time it's just like, just pass the damn ball, pass the damn ball, pass the goddamn ball. Because you just know it's going to get taken away eventually, but he loves doing it.
Yeah, we call those Rudy runs. So
yes.
It's typically Antonio Rudiger for us doing that. All right. So switching back to the Premier League here, I think it's kind of obvious the top three is going to end up being City, Liverpool, Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to catch those three. Outside of that, you've got 4 points dividing 5 teams.
It's wild. Yeah, it's wild toward anywhere 4 through 8. I think it's pretty tight race.
So you've got United, West Ham, Arsenal, Spurs, and Wolves, all divided by 4 points. Obviously, games in hand all over the place.
Right.
Who do you think is finishing in that top 4 spot out of those teams?
My hope, West Ham. I think they deserve I mean, they've been playing out of their minds all year, in my opinion. I'd love to see them have some success and get back into the Champions League. But realistically, I'm thinking maybe Spurs. I think they might pull out a run of form and be able to get into that top spot. Just because, I mean, it's like you said, it's so wide open, and those teams just kind of beat up on each other, it seems like. So, I mean, you can drop 3 points and gain 3 points, and all of a sudden you're back in the race. So I don't know. It's going to be tight, but I think my heart goes with West Ham, but my brain goes with Spurs.
Yeah, man, I hate to say Antonio Conte is a great manager, but he really is. I think he's going to right that ship eventually. Although it is funny that they cannot get anybody to sign there this month.
No, they can't at all.
Including a non-league player that they went out and tried to sign, turned them down this week. So it makes me laugh. Love it. But Arsenal's not doing it. Too many red cards. And now they can't, with the new Premier League COVID rules, they can't BS their way to suspending matches anymore.
Right.
Wolves will fall off because they're Wolves.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, really that leaves United, West Ham, and Spurs.
Nobody wants United four spot. So.
No one.
Everybody hates United.
But I feel like it might be good if they do, because then you got Ralph Ragnick. Maybe he sticks on, instead of becoming director, sticks on as manager.
True.
And then he'll retire in a couple of years, and then they'll have to do it all again. But yeah, I think West Ham's got to be everybody's Cinderella at this point, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm not going to say that they remind me of the Leicester team, because that Leicester team, when they won the league, they were so much fun. They were so much fun. But West Ham, I think, has the opportunity to be able to do that. Ooh, sorry. I have the football game on in the background, the American football game, the Rams and the Niners, and Jimmy G just flipped one right over the head of the receiver. Sorry, it distracted me. But I would love, like I said, yes, I would love to have West Ham get that 4th spot and get back in the Champions League.
All right, let's turn our attention to the bottom of the table. We've got, like you said, 4 months left here, and Everton has entered into the relegation battle. So you've got Everton on 19 points, Norwich, Newcastle, Watford, and Burnley. Do you see Newcastle, Watford, and Burnley staying as your relegated teams, or is somebody else going to slip in there?
No, I don't think any. Those 3 teams are they're terrible. They really are. And I mean, if I would, again, the heart tells me I would love to have Everton get relegated, but I think that would be terrible for the league, honestly. So, but that would be really, really funny that Rafa puts him in that position. It's almost like we had him in there as a spy.
Agent Rafa.
Right.
I would love that. If Everton and Burnley could swap, I'd be happy. I love Sean Dyche. I don't know, everything about Burnley. If you had to pick a second team, Burnley is my second team.
Really? You like him, huh?
Yeah, he's a bulldog. He doesn't take crap. He's like a
no, and maybe that's why I'm not the hugest fan of him, but he, at least he has his players back. He shows that he is at least passionate, so I'm sure that helps when they are consistently losing.
Well, what else helps? They've played the least amount of games out of anyone. They played 18 matches so far this year.
Right.
So there's room for improvement.
Jeez Louise.
I do hope Newcastle go down, though. They just go down, stay down.
See you later.
Yeah. Them and John Joe can go shove it.
No. Not John Joe. See, the thing is, though, I still don't like Newcastle, even though they do have John Joe. But John Joe at Swansea made me like Swansea. So
that's fair. That's totally fair.
Yikes.
All right. And then last thing here. Let's make a Super Bowl prediction. I have no idea who's winning the Niners Rams games right now. I don't care to watch.
The LA Rams are going to the Super Bowl against Joey B and the Bengals.
All right. So it's the Super Bowl of I don't give a shit for me.
Right.
I will only watch for Snoop Dogg.
I feel like America is going to be cheering for the Bengals because Los Angeles, no one likes any Los Angeles teams unless you're from Los Angeles. So, in fact, the LA state, they kept showing the inside of the LA stadium and it was like all red, like all 49ers fans. It's like, yeah, it's pretty bad. So my personal, I think, prediction is going to be the Bengals are going to win 34-24 against. It's going to be a high scoring affair.
Does Matthew Stafford throw a pick six?
I'm going to say at least one. Over under 1.5.
Oh my God. But to be fair, that is the best part of the Super Bowl is all the little prop bets and stuff.
Best, yes. The length of the national anthem, how many times Joe Buck says a word and like
what color Gatorade it's going to be.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I don't think the Rams can beat the Bengals. The Niners, just because they're lucky, I think would have a chance, but
right,
not Stafford.
No,
I mean, if Patrick Mahomes can't get through the Bengals defense, I don't see how Matt Stafford is.
No, that was a rough second half. Holy cow!
It's just another thing that tore my heart out this weekend.
Right. I keep forgetting that you're a Kansas City fan through and through, just because you lived there for a while. But yeah, that is pretty rough. I would say it definitely took the spotlight off the Packers choking at home. So, I mean, I got to thank him personally.
We'll have to do a pod next football season. We'll do something go Pack go.
Go Pack go. That Aaron Rodgers. We'll see if he's still on the team.
All right. What do you think? Does he come back?
I want him to be traded. And it's not like a vindictive thing. He obviously doesn't really want to be here. The fans are starting to sour on him. The reason why I want to trade him now is just to get as much as we possibly can for him in a trade, get those first round picks, get some talent back, maybe even on the defensive side. I think now might be the time to try and get as much as we possibly can for him instead of waiting and maybe trying to re-sign him. And
I think my least favorite part of all of this has been Wisconsin sports talk radio. And for a dear listener who I'm sure lives in some other city, in some other state, I'm sure your sports talk radio is just as bad. But Wisconsin is something special because you got the people who are from up north. And then
Rick from here.
Yeah. And then you got everybody else. And everyone has an opinion and they're all wrong. And all the people are like, oh yeah, trade them, do a rebuild, are gonna be the same people who 8 months from now are gonna be calling in saying, why do we fucking suck?
Yeah.
Like
why did we just lose to the Bears?
Yeah. Why can't we have a quarterback like that Justin Fields guy?
That Mason crossbar keeps hitting the post.
God, I hate Milwaukee sports talk so much.
You want to talk about just some of the most fair weather people? I mean, listen to Milwaukee sports radio for sure.
And they always want somebody back from the past.
Right.
With the Brewers, it's Ryan Braun. With the Packers for a while, it was Jordy Nelson. Like,
yeah,
it's just let it go. It's fine.
Umaro. People wanted to keep Jake Kumaro so badly. My God.
Yeah, so props to you for for one time working in sports radio here. Because
The ESPN 540 was something, that's for sure. So quick story. I'll tell you a quick story. So that was the year I interned there was also the year that the Brewers were making a playoff run, and they had potentially had a chance to get a pretty good seed, and win the Central for the first time in a long time. And being up in the press box, you can't cheer. You can't openly cheer. You have to have zero bias, and you have to be almost library quiet sometimes. And because they announce stuff over the speakers, the sports writers, are all jabbing with each other and this, that, and the other thing. Tom Hodgercourt was telling off-color jokes and stuff. He's retiring, so I could say that now. But it was it was an experience because you could not. I mean, you just couldn't be a fan. And there was there was one time in general that I got yelled at, and I forgot which pitcher it was, but he laid down just the most perfect sacrifice bunt down the first base line. All I did was, "Ooh, that's a nice bunt." And then I literally got shushed, old lady shushed by my supervisor and 3 other people that were in the press box. I didn't even say it that loud, but I got shushed for saying, "Ooh, that's a nice bunt." So yeah, that pretty much summed up my time with ESPN 540.
Yeah, a lot better to be podcasting than
Right,
than
absolutely.
media credentials.
No doubt about it.
All right, man. Well, it's been a pleasure, and we're definitely gonna have you back on the week of the Carabao Cup final.
Absolutely.
So, again, we appreciate everyone listening in. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that at Flag Down Pod. You can find Joe here at Joe Mach 64, myself, Andy at Comiskey North. And as always, please subscribe, rate, review, check out our YouTube channel. It's all there. Any way you want to intake us, we'll have it ready for you.
Get us out there.
Yeah, phrasing.
I'm all potted out.